Hi, and welcome to the webinar tonight. We will begin right away. If you can hear me, you've heard music playing. Now we'll start with an introduction. My name is Adrian Bustillos, and I'll be an instructor for tonight's webinar. Before we get started, we'll start with an audio check. So if you can hear me right now, please go to the chat box on the bottom left and give me a yes if you can hear me. Or if you can't hear me, you type in no. Another way you can let me know if you can have audio is go up to My Moods and give me a yes for a thumbs up. Or if you can't hear me and your moods, put no. If you have any questions during this time, go ahead and raise your hand, or anytime you have a question throughout this webinar, go ahead and raise your hand and I can give you a microphone. Okay, and now because we get started, tonight we'll be talking about types of assessments. And part of the assessments that students go about are formative and summative. And we must understand that student learning is an integral part of the learning process. And by using a formative assessment and a summative assessment, educators are able to guide student learning. So before we move on here, we will begin with a short video on formative assessments.
Created using Powtoon.
Okay, great. This video is a great introduction to what we've been talking about of types of formative assessments. So to go ahead and get started here, I'm going to open our notes page, and this is going to be our interactive notebook at this time. So what I would like you to do is I'm going to pose a question, and all you attendees need to share something about this video we just saw. Okay, so you can see the questions posted. What did you learn on two types of assessments? Again, this is a public notebook interactive board, so whatever you write, everyone will see. And if you like to edit at this time, you can edit anyone on there. So at this time, go ahead and write in on this question. Yes, that's correct. There are two types of assessments, formative and summative, that the video spoke about. And the video also did mention that these assessments can be used in various forms. So you can go ahead and add this comments or notes here into the interactive whiteboard anytime through this lesson. And at the end of the video or of the webinar, this will be emailed to you, so you'll have a copy of this. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'm going to also go ahead and go back to our PowerPoint that we've been looking at. Okay, now formative assessments, this is defined as an assessment carried out during the instructional process for the process of improving teaching or learning. Now, this process and understanding is close relation to instructional scaffolding. These building blocks of one another help students learn, and as a teacher, you can determine what type of learning needs to take place. Now, some types of formative assessments are observation, student conferences, portfolios, prior knowledge, and rubrics. And this is just to name a few types of formative assessments. So at this time, I'm going to ask you to go into the chat box on the bottom left and tell me what types of formative assessments you've had. Okay, so the question is now there under the chat box. What type of formative assessments have you tried? So at this time, I'm asking all the attendees to go in there and type some types of assessments they've had. I'll give you about 15 seconds for this. Okay, I can see some answers come in. I see exit tickets, polls, raising hands. Okay, small groups. Well, excellent. Those are some types of formative assessments. If there are more types of formative assessments that you remember, go ahead and throw them in the chat as we go forward. Now, on types of summative assessments, this type can be important milestones on the same learning continuum from a formative assessment. These are done again at the end of units, chapters, modules, and they differ from formative assessment. It's not the same type of formative assessment that you would use for a summative. This is a combination of all the content that have been taught. So this should never repeat a form of formative assessment, and it should be a follow-up to a learning unit. This does change the mental process of the content and directs the topics and skills tested. So before we hit our poll question, I would like for everyone to go ahead and send a private chat to somebody else. You can send to a private one, whoever you like in there. And my question to you in the private chat is, what types of summative assessments have you had? Share examples. Okay, so at this time, go ahead and share that with somebody else. Anybody in the private chat, I'll go ahead and give you 15 seconds for that. Okay, great. So thank you for participating in that private chat. If you like to go ahead and add any of those that you shared in the chat for everyone to see, you can go ahead and do that at this time. The next thing I'm going to do before we go to the conclusion of what you learned in this unit, I'm going to share another video here for you from YouTube. Let me grab it real quick. Just to sum up this last part of this instruction that we've talked about tonight.
Hello again. We are going to have a lot of fun now. We are going to talk about assessment. Oftentimes, assessment gets a bad rap. This is mostly because some people believe it's good to teach to the test and not teach to the individual student. But assessment is our friend if we treat it right. Assessments can be very useful. Teachers can use assessments to understand what students already know and what they have learned in class. There are many types of assessments. We are going to talk about pre-assessments, formative assessments, and summative assessments. Assessments need to be ongoing in order to help guide a teacher's instruction. Let's start by talking about pre-assessments. A pre-assessment isn't what you do right before the assessment. According to Chapman and King, the goal of a pre-assessment is to expose each learner's prior knowledge, skills, interests, and feelings before the information is presented.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right there due to the time limit I have on Screen-O-Matic. And I'm going to go ahead and go back up here to our presentation. And go ahead and wrap it up right here. So on the conclusion here, what did you learn from this unit? Please go back up to the notes and type in here in our interactive whiteboard. And go ahead and type out what you've learned in this unit. Again, at the end, this will be emailed to you. If there's any questions, you can ask for a mic again, or you can put your answers in the chat box. Questions, Q&A. And if there's none, you can also share with myself or with anybody private. So again, thank you for joining me today. Today you were able to interact by using the notes as my interactive notebook, the chat to list types of formative assessments, and you use the private chat to share some type of summative assessments as well. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to our next meeting. Thank you.